Are you looking to license a new product idea? Well, licensing sounds great, doesn't it? You don't have to worry about the manufacturing or the marketing of your idea. You simply patent it, find the right company to do a licensing deal with you, and then they go away and worry about all the hard work of manufacturing and promoting the product and send you a check every month once they start selling them. Well, it sounds easy and it sounds great, but it never works like that. And actually, it's really difficult. So make sure you watch until the end of the video to find out why. My name's Phil and I've run a product innovation company for the last 12 years. I've been involved in several licensing deals during that time, and I've helped hundreds of other people to develop and launch their products selling directly to consumers and retailers. And it really annoys me because there's quite a lot of false information out there about how all you need to get a license deal is a patent and some pretty pictures of your product. Now that simply is untrue, and those companies really are looking to profit from you by selling you those services, visualizing your idea and doing a patent. There are 10 things that you need to realize about licensing. Number one, licensing a product is actually a big investment for the company that is doing that licensing deal. And the reason is this: that company then has to take on all the cost of the setup for manufacture. So that might be expensive tooling, that might be in terms of getting all the plans sorted out and finalized for production, and all of that costs money. They're also going to have to do a marketing launch, and they're going to have to get a lot of their team, marketing, sales, finance, all involved in things like pricing and marketing launches and all that kind of other stuff. So don't go into a license deal thinking that it's great for the company. It could be really good for the company, but it's also going to cost them a lot as well. And that's a lot more than the money they're paying you. That's all the other investment they need to consider. Point number two, it has to be the right time for that business. Not all businesses are investing in new product development all the time. Sometimes they're focusing on selling their existing products, sometimes they're focusing on mergers or acquisitions or something else. So you can approach them and find that actually they reject you and your idea simply because it's not the right time for them as a business, it's not part of their strategy to be developing any new products. You also need to consider that your product might not fit with their priorities. So their priorities right now might be, for example, to be developing their budget range of products. That's what all their customers are asking for. And if you go to them with a premium product, then they're likely to say no. Your product needs to fit with their priorities. We've got 7 more points, but if you're finding this video useful so far, please hit like, hit subscribe, and make sure you click on the bell icon so you get notified when I'm launching new useful content like this. Now, when you're doing a license deal with a medium to large size company, you need to bear in mind there's multiple layers of people within the decision making. So you might have gone into the research and development manager, for example, or the head of new product development, but actually they're going to have to sell it to the people in finance, to the people in marketing, maybe to the owners of the business, maybe to other directors or shareholders. So you've got multiple layers of people that have got to say yes to it before you can actually get your deal. And you're not going to be in all of those meetings, and that can be quite tricky. Doing a license deal actually costs quite a lot of money. It might be cheaper than manufacturing the product and launching your own brand, but actually there's going to be lots of costs along the way. And one of those is going to be the legal fees to actually get the deal done and passed, and the wording right so that you don't miss out. A lot of these companies will either outsource their legal side or have internal legal teams who are creating the license deal, and you're going to need to pay someone who can check it and act on your behalf, who has a legal background and understands all the terminology. Almost every license deal requires a working prototype, and actually that's a minimum requirement. A lot of the license deals I've worked on, they've needed actual manufactured product samples and product out in the marketplace and sales figures for it before they'll do the deal. So don't think in any way that you can just have some pretty pictures and go and get a license deal. In most cases it will require a working prototype, and actually in a lot of cases it will require even more development before the deal can be done. We've still got 4 points to go, but just before that, please do check out the description underneath this video because you'll find a link there to a guide that I've written on the 7 different ways to sell a product. Licensing is one of those, but there are 6 other methods. You really ought to consider them before taking a decision. Get your free guide in the description below. When trying to get a license deal with a company, you're often going to have to overcome the ego factor. There's often going to be people within the team evaluating the concept who are secretly, or not so secretly, thinking, if this was so great, we would have come up with it. If our customers had wanted this unique feature, then surely we would have thought of it. We're in this industry, we don't need someone from outside who knows nothing about our industry telling us what the next great new product is going to be. And you're going to have to overcome that if you're actually going to get a license deal signed. You're going to need to prove to them that their customers want this product. And that basically means you're either going to have sold the product and have some data in terms of sales, or you're going to have some great market research data that proves that there is a market for the product. Or, and this is what's happened in the license deal I'm working on with one of our clients at the moment, you have to provide multiple prototypes to them so they can take them out to their customers, they can get the feedback from their customers, and then they can be more certain about doing the deal. If you've got any questions on this, please do put them in the comments below. I reply to all questions personally. The next thing you need to bear in mind about doing a license deal is the company you're talking to will be seeking to minimize their risk. This is what business owners and decision makers in big companies do all the time. They're looking for a minimum risk approach, and any new product is a risk. So you're going to have to help them, particularly in terms of their internal conversations you're not going to be party to express why this is a minimum risk product. You're going to need a champion of your product within that organization. There are going to be lots of meetings about whether to do a deal or not on your product idea that you're not going to be sitting in on. And in those meetings, you need to make sure that internally within that company, there's someone who's really pushing your product. And that's quite hard because for them, that could be a career-defining decision to back this product, and therefore you're going to have to make it as easy as possible for them to want to do that for you. Now we're going to look at a case study in just a moment, but before then, if you want some help with the heavy lifting to get a prototype ready for a license deal, or you want some expertise in terms of how to present a product effectively, then do get in touch with my company, D2M. The link so you can book a call with one of our experienced designers are in the description below. Now here's a quick case study. This has got a successful license deal with a company called Oxford Products. Ed, who invented it, came to us with this original idea with a sketch on the equivalent of a fag packet, basically. We then developed it, we prototyped it, he tested it, did a lot of video footage of him using the product around London. He then actually ran a Kickstarter crowdfunding campaign, which was successful. He then put the product into production, and then once he started talking to retailers, they put him in touch with their distributor because they would rather buy the product through a distributor who they already had an account set up for, already buying lots of products through them, so it's much easier. And then in conversations with the distributor, Ed was able to then secure a licensing deal. But that was much easier because, as you can see, there was a retail relationship in place so that the distributor knew they would get sales, and they had a whole load of sales from the Kickstarter campaign, which proved the concept. Product market fit is absolutely critical, and Ed managed to prove that with his product and then use that to get a licensing deal. Now, if you're looking to license a product and this hasn't put you off, then please do check out my next video, which is all about creating the best presentation for licensing.